You can make a ton of money in cryptocurrency with Bepro, Polkadex, and Polkamarkets as long as you understand how price moves. That's what we're going to do here today. But for new viewers, just about a week and a half ago, before any cryptocurrency folks were predicting downside, I made a Bitcoin video with the yellow balloon on it. I should have had that prepared. That said 50K Bitcoin question mark. And then because of that, because I spelled downside going, I made this video here on these three assets on Bepro, Polkamarkets, and Polkadex saying I think Bitcoin's at least going to hit 60K, which it's done. These are the exact targets that each of these three assets will hit should Bitcoin hit 60K. And guess what? Each of those hit the target. So go watch that video because it's going to help you appreciate viewing what is happening now in the charts by seeing me predict the future of these three coins. I promise you, if you haven't seen it, you might want to go look at that. Just look for the thumbnail in my playlist. And also for folks who've already watched that video here recently, the folks too lazy to watch my Bitcoin updates, I promise you, watching this video thumbnail here from my channel is going to help you understand and predict whether right now is a good time to scoop up more Bepro, whether now is a good time to scoop up more Polkamarkets and Polkadex, because it all depends on Bitcoin and Ethereum price, and I explain step by step what you need to be looking out for in the charts. All right. So also on these three coins, I give frequent updates on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter. 𝘾𝙤𝙣𝙗 is my handle. You can see it right here. 𝘾𝙤𝙣𝙗, the number 2 on Twitter. Follow me there. And what we're going to do now is we're going to dive into the charts and determine what the hell we're staring at, and are things going to pop up or not. Let's dive in. I'm going to start with Bepro, even though we're staring at Polk right now. So back up, Tim, back up. That's the wrong one. Who is that guy in your Twitter one? That's me, just with a lot of saturation and smoothing because I learned how to use Photoshop. All right. I make myself look pretty. All right. So in the video that had the word dump in it that I kind of linked you to or told you to check out, that thumbnail, is I said if Bitcoin hits 60K, Bepro's easily going to get significantly under a penny. And hopefully, I said specifically, hopefully, so this orange line here, let me take off the 10. This orange line, this is the daily chart. That is my 200 daily EMA. Daily chart 200 EMA, right? I said it's going to hit that, and you're going to hope it finds support. However, Bitcoin actually went lower than 60K. So what has Bepro done? It has gone slightly lower than that target. However, Polk, so you might want to stay tuned for Polk. Polk is actually exactly at the first target that I gave. So it's still holding up pretty well. So Bepro is looking a little weaker. It's, you know, the bad thing about this is now that Bepro has fallen below the daily 200 on the way up, it might be some form of resistance, or what you want to look out for here, if I can draw like an orange line, so extend this essentially, right? So imagine the near future, that is the daily 200. What you're going to want to be looking out for is one of two ways. It might have to consolidate under here, then bust up, or Bepro's just going to race up, come back and test it on a wick, and then continue up. But either way, it's either going to form resistance or support, or both. It might consolidate under it, blast above, come back and check it, something like that. But really, the only, you know, the one big line that you want to be watching for Bepro on is the daily 200 EMA. That is the one line to rule them all. And after it gets back above that line, let's see where the 4 hour is. So the 4 hour is actually pretty close to it, right? So the 4 hour is pretty close. So you might actually draw in both of these. Draw in the 4 hour 200 EMA, maybe extend it a little bit, all right? And then we could take off all EMAs. So, I mean, there's going to be a cross of these. So it's going to have a chance to, a special scenario to get above both of these important lines at the same time in one fell swoop, which honestly might increase the chances of Bepro busting through both of them, then using them as support, allow the 4 hour 200 EMA to curl back around, get on top of this, and then, you know, sky's the limit as long as Bitcoin and Ethereum behave, which is why it is so important. I'm telling you, you know, even more so than interpreting Bepro, you know, price action is hit the wrong button, is checking out, you know, Bitcoin and Ethereum price action. That's why it's so important to watch my Bitcoin videos. It's all going to depend on this, which is why I strongly suggest, if you're an altcoin fan who's too lazy to watch Bitcoin analysis, I mean, now's the time to, you know, pay the tuition for your education on how to make money in crypto. You need to understand what Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing. Damn, I'm clicking around wrong buttons all the time here. All right, so that's what we got. So I suggest very, very strongly that on Bepro, you put on the daily 200 EMA and the 4-hour 200 EMA, and essentially those are the lines to rule them all. Those are the EMAs to rule them all. Once BPro can get above there, bounce on them, and with the assumption that Bitcoin and Ethereum are both behaving, you can expect the upward targets that I've discussed in previous videos on these assets to be hit. All right, so now we're going to move on to Polk. All right, so in the video, with the background that I showed you earlier, you can kind of see it right here. Okay, see it right there. This video here, I gave the targets on Polk, and I said very specifically, I said you have a ton of EMAs coming in all at once to each other. You have the 4-hour 200 EMA, you have the daily 200 EMA, which I should put on here. So you have the daily 200 EMA. So obviously at the same level. So the previous line was the 4-hour, and you have the weekly 10 EMA. So I'm going to put that on weekly 10 EMA. And if you're new to this and you don't know how to set up a chart, I'm telling you what, you're going to want to click the link that's going to pop up right here in about 3 seconds. So make sure if you're new to crypto, you probably don't even need to be buying crypto until you know how to set up a chart. So the link that's popping up right now, you want to click that, then come back to this video, and what I'm saying will start making sense. All right. Okay, let's get into it. Okay. So the weekly 10 EMA is right here. So you have a bunch of very, very strong EMAs. So you see how the week, so let me get rid of my squigglies here. Bam, bam, but you see how they're all close together. The weekly 10 is here, and you have a massive horizontal here formed by this candle action here, and this wick here, and this wick here. So you have very strong support on multiple levels, multiple time frames, strong EMAs, and you have a very strong horizontal. So as long as Bitcoin does not tank much farther than 58K, 57K, Polk has a very strong chance of holding up. However, oftentimes so this is what to look out for. Even if Bitcoin holds up, it's very common that when the weekly 10 is tested, there is a wick below, and sometimes that wick on the week, that's 2 red days that goes, sometimes like 10 and 12% below. So you can go like this, let's say, that's about right. About 87 cents. So now that it's touching, there is a strong possibility, even if Bitcoin doesn't keep going down, that you're seeing 87 cent Polk on a wick. And here's how you play this. If you see, so watching Bitcoin and Ethereum, if Bitcoin and Ethereum are behaving and Polk wicks down that low while those two assets are behaving, then, so it's an if-then situation, right? If the grass is green, then we can have a picnic, right? If my wife is hungry, then I might die, right? Stuff like that. If-then statements. Okay, that's why I don't let my woman get hungry, because it is dangerous. All right, so if Polk... No. Yeah, if Polk gets down to 84, 85, 87 cents, so under 90 cents, if Polk gets under 90 cents and Bitcoin and Ethereum are behaving, then a pickup on Polk is very statistically probable that it's a good pickup at that time. However, if you see Bitcoin and Ethereum not behaving as Polk reaches down those levels, then you probably need to put on your crypto goggles and look down and ask what's next, right? Which then you'd have the weekly 21 EMA and another horizontal. So let's go look into that right here. So if Bitcoin starts hitting its lower end targets because it's being pulled back down by Ethereum, I would pull on the weekly 21 EMA, which is not much lower, but so that's 87 cents too. And so you don't have any weekly, or actually you do have this wick here. Actually, yeah. So this wick actually could end up being a big deal. And you have this wick high. So that's a weekly candle. If you want to go back to the week of May 24th on that candle, draw a horizontal line from it. That is coming to 85 cents. So you have pretty strong supports. If Bitcoin goes down to 52 to 50K, somewhere around there, you can expect to pick up Polk at 85 cents. But either way, it's going to stay pretty strong. It's got so many levels of support. And this is exactly what I was talking about in the previous video that I made on this with the thumbnail that you can see behind here. Okay, so for new viewers, I'm telling you, it's going to be so beneficial to go back and check that out. So you can see how this all comes together by seeing the past, right? Connect with the future. It just makes analysis make so much more sense when instead of just seeing how people talk about stuff like as I predicted. Actually, even when they say that, they might have mentioned it like more than half the time, right? So, but yeah, I'm totally culpable. I'm totally guilty of saying as I predicted, and it did. I did it too. It's marketing. Attempting to get people to to, you know, like go back on your previous videos and say, actually, did he predict it? And it helps, you know, with views, but it also helps educate you. And it's really good to say that type of stuff. So especially if you actually did predict it, and you didn't just mention it. But I specifically want to drive you to that video. If you're new and you didn't watch it, it'll make things make so much more sense. So those are the downside targets that we have for here. Now, PDEX, remember in that video, okay, with that same thumbnail that I said, even if Bitcoin goes down to 50K, I bet PDEX will not break this line. And so Bitcoin's gone down to like 55K, 55.5K. It didn't even touch this line. So I think that prediction that, you know, PDEX is stuck in this range. And if you want to draw the upper end of the range, you know, if you're newer to here, I would draw a line at about $26.50 and a line at $15.30. Okay. And PDEX has been stuck in there for quite some time. And PDEX will not bust out of there until Bitcoin and Ethereum are behaving. And I allow you to understand those parameters of behaving if you watch my Bitcoin and Ethereum video. So let's just say that Bitcoin closes a daily candle above 65K. I think at that time, PDEX will specifically, as I covered in that video, within 2 to 3 days of Bitcoin closing the daily candle above 65, I think PDEX will break out. It is super ready. Again, you know, videos even before that, you know, PDEX has lived its entire life in this range. Whenever, look at this. I mean, that's 200 days with, you know, a downtick because, you know, whales cornered Bitcoin market and did a Wyckoff distribution pattern and really screwed stuff up for crypto for a while. But, you know, in the end, it might actually be good for it because I think the 4-year cycle finally broken and it will allow fewer people to get wrecked. I really do believe so. I think the ups and downs of altcoins will be more scattered, and the ones that fail on average will just start disappearing slowly, you know, like multiple ones, you know, every year or something like that until all the weak ants are gone. But I just think that there's a higher probability with 4-year cycle being broken that it's not going to be all coins up 1,000%, then they're all down 99.5%, literally 99%. And if you're new to crypto, I'm telling you, I also have a market cycle video. It's before I knew how to YouTube very well. My microphone wasn't that good at the time, but if you're new to this and you think that you want to hold an asset for generational wealth and all that stuff, you need to watch the video that's popping up here. I promise you it'll be an eye-opener. So okay, so go ahead and watch that video on market cycles with the idea that I didn't know how to YouTube very well at the time. So give me a pass on that. I need to remake those videos, but there are only 24 hours in the day. All right, and I got 4 kids and you know, stay-home mom and all that stuff. So just things are really busy. All right, so anyway, so PDEX, those are the 2 levels you're looking out for. And again, Bitcoin is going to be your primary indicator on here. As long as Bitcoin stays above 50K, honestly, I think PDEX is going to give nothing but pretty good buy opportunities because once Bitcoin starts behaving, so if you can scoop up PDEX, you know, anywhere below $15, so it'll probably wick past here if Bitcoin tanks, but anywhere between like, you know, anywhere between $14 and $16 for PDEX, you know, that could really, really get you ready for a big move up for the moment that then Ethereum and Bitcoin start behaving, hopefully in December. That's the target that I have for those 2 assets for when they will give permission to altcoins to really zoom up. So, hey, new viewers, if you want to make more money in crypto by learning just one simple trick that only take a few minutes to learn, you're going to watch the video that's going to be popping up right here. And returning viewers, if you want to learn a little bit more complex trick to help you in your crypto journey, you're going to want to watch the video that's popped up here. So new viewers, make more money, this video here. Returning viewers, you want to click this video here and get it. Put in the tuition for your education. All right, here we go. You're still here. I just told you make more money here and make more money here. You're still here. Why?